What's up, everybody? So, ever since Halloween Ends that came out, which I did not enjoy, I was thinking maybe there's other YouTubers out there who have covered this particular Halloween, as far as this particular series goes, kind of help me out and figure out exactly like what is the story exactly. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm confused as hell as far as the way how they told the story. Cause the way how they told the story, it made it seem like they just put it in there and they didn't really give much about the story. It was more about just the killing and that's pretty much the gist of it. Cause they didn't cover up exactly like why exactly Michael Myers wants to kill babysitters. What is his situation with Laurie Strode? Why does he want to have that revenge? Why does he want to kill Laurie Strode? What is the backstory between Michael Myers and Laurie Strode? I know he likes to kill babysitters, but why? Like, what is the history there? I know they cover a little bit of how he went to the penitentiary on Halloween Kills, or not penitentiary. I'm sorry, the asylum. Which in my opinion it should have been on the second one, which is 2018 Halloween. It should have been there, but I don't know. I just felt I really did not enjoy this part of collection of Halloween. In my opinion, they should have covered it up. They should have left it off where it was before. I know they had different directors directing each and every Halloween movie, but the way how it was set up, it made even more sense. So, with that said, I'm gonna try out this YouTuber here. I think she's called Lida Loves Timelines. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing the name correctly. If not, I apologize. But I want to see her perspective and the completed timing of it. Maybe she has a better explanation of it. But on that note, before we do this video, if you have not done so, make sure you all go ahead and subscribe to the channel so that way I can provide more content for you guys. And remember, you make sure you keep that notification bell on so that way you don't miss any videos that I upload. I appreciate you guys' support from the bottom of my heart. Now, why don't we go ahead and get into this video, shall we?
Way before he became Haddonfield's boogeyman, Michael Myers seemed just like another ordinary boy growing up. But unknown to those around him, there was a darkness lurking behind those eyes.
Right.
A darkness that was finally unleashed, untamable, and unstoppable.
Exactly.
October 31st,
I was upset
on Halloween
when they
night,
had Michael Myers like a
was
human
left
being
alone with
in
his
this
sister
movie.
Judith.
That was stupid.
But she
I was
had other
like,
things on her mind other than babysitting, like making out with her boyfriend. Meanwhile, Michael, wearing a clown costume, spied on the pair from the outside. And after Judith's boyfriend left, Michael entered her room, brandishing a knife which he repeatedly stabbed her with. After this unprovoked attack, Michael walked out into his front yard just as his parents arrived.
Soon as after he killed his
father
sister,
removed
Judith
the mask,
Myers. I
only to
remember
reveal
that.
an
Yeah.
unemotional Michael staring straight ahead.
6-year-old
And
child.
so today, together, we embark on this small child.
That should have been on Halloween 2018. That little segment there with Dr. Loomis and all that should have been at the beginning of the Halloween movie. That should have been the beginning of it. After that movie, they should have follow up through the Halloween 2018.
Starting from the original 1978 film, followed by the 2018 film, Halloween Kills, and finally, Halloween Ends.
Exactly.
Now, if you're a little confused about Halloween's many timelines, then I don't blame you. So I've asked my friend and horror expert Zach from CZ's World to help break this down.
The Halloween timeline can be confusing for a lot of casual audiences because there are so many different branches, each representing an alternate reality and alternate version of events. To help visualize this, I like to lay out the timeline as if it were a train map, which I refer to as the Halloween Express. Most transit systems have a Union Station or Joint Station. In the case of the Halloween Express, that is the 1978 original. From there are a few different routes to choose from, starting with the original timeline, which consists of Rick's Halloween 2, Halloween 4, Halloween 5, and Curse of Michael Myers, which is Halloween 6. However, if you're not interested in Michael Myers being part of a cult, you can opt to go down the 20-year timeline route. This will also start at the original Halloween and go through Halloween 2, but that's where you'll take a transfer.
See, when they start doing the Halloween H2O, the way how they did it, it made a lot more sense.
And finally, Halloween Resurrection. If you're interested in seeing the best and worst of the franchise, the 20-year timeline map is for you. However, you may not be a fan of the idea of Michael
because
Myers
they were,
being
they
worse
picture
than
it
the
still,
brother,
they were
which
brothers and
is Halloween
sisters.
2. The
It
4-year
made a
timeline
whole lot
map
of
avoids
sense.
that plot point
This
by going directly
particular
from
part that
Halloween
they
1
did-
to Halloween 2018, which is followed by Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends.
Right.
This timeline is probably best for Jamie Lee Curtis fans. There are also 3 Halloween films that aren't connected to the original at all. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, is a spin-off in which the original is only a movie. In 2006,
it's non-existent,
Rob Zombie
particularly as far as that
Halloween,
story
and
of
in
Michael
2009,
Myers.
he followed that up with an original sequel. And that basically paints the picture of the Halloween Express.
Right.
After this video, feel free to check out my playlist going more in depth on the timelines of many Halloween characters.
If you don't know,
The link
now
to the
you know.
playlist is linked down below. Now let's pick up from where we left off. 1963.
Right.
Straight after killing his sister,
Dr.
Michael
Loomis.
was
Rest
sent
in
to
peace,
work to
Donald
Smith's
Pleasant.
Grove Sanitarium.
One of
And
the
the
greatest
mission
actors of all time.
motivation caught the attention and curiosity of Dr. Samuel Loomis. Michael became his patient, and during years of sessions, Loomis concluded that Michael was the embodiment of evil.
You don't know who
After
Donald
Loomis's
Pleasant
death,
is, by the way?
Dr.
Look him up.
Rambis Sartain took over Michael's case. But we'll look into him much later on in the video. October 30th, 1978.
Mm-hmm.
We now journey
He
forward
escaped.
15
He
years
escaped
to
that
Loomis
mental
and
case-
Marion
that
Chambers,
mental asylum.
driving to Smith's Grove to transport Michael to court.
Mm-hmm.
But on their arrival, they found the inmate had gotten loose.
Yeah.
And when Loomis goes to
He got
investigate, the boogeyman himself attacked Marion through the car window.
Right.
But she did manage to escape, leaving Michael to drive himself away.
Right.
Now, one of the biggest mysteries in this entire movie is how the hell did Michael learn to drive?
Now, for God's sakes, he can't drive a car. He was
It's
doing
interesting
that
how he
first,
managed to, how he
The
figured out how
reason
to
given
drive.
in the
It's
novelization
interesting.
is that Michael learned by watching Loomis drive, being his passenger for numerous hearings over the years.
I don't know about
Anywho,
that.
on his way back to Haddonfield, Michael came across a mechanic who he killed before stealing his
It makes sense
overalls.
though. It makes sense because
October
you know
31st,
Dr.
1978.
Dr. Loomis
Once
was
back
Michael
in
Myers'
Haddonfield
patient.
At some point, he went to the
So it
cemetery
makes
and
sense.
stole his sister's tombstone with some very theatrical plans in mind. It was around this time of stealing the tombstone that Michael also broke into a hardware
You're
store
right.
to
He broke
steal
into
a
the
mask.
store and
This now
stole a
iconic
couple of
mask was
knives and
originally
masks and
Captain
stuff like
Kirk
that.
one,
Right.
purchased for around $2
We
by
know that.
Tommy Lee Wallace.
Well, for
It was then
older
modified with the
fans
eyebrows
like
and
myself
sideburns being
that-
stripped off, the
that
face
watched
was painted
the
flat white, and the
1978,
eyes were reshaped with some scissors.
whether in
And the
theaters
result
or VHS
was
tapes or
absolutely
DVD,
terrifying
what have
due
you.
to its bland
Even on
and
stream.
expressionless face. And what's funny about
We-
it
we
is
know
that
that part,
Shanna
how-
had no idea it was his
how,
face
you
that
know, what
was
happened
used
with
for
the
the
store.
film, only finding
broke
out
into
much
it.
later during an interview. But he was a mighty good sport about it, taking it as a huge honour.
Right.
With his outfit now complete, Michael went to his now abandoned family home to hide. And this is where he saw
Right.
Laurie Strode for the very first
Right.
time.
Where he started
Popping
stalking
over to
Laurie
drop some
Strode.
keys as
Right.
her father was going to show the house to some potential buyers.
Right.
Michael followed Laurie to school and he even stared at her from across the field, but
Mhm.
conveniently
Stalking.
disappeared when she took a double take, going down as one of the most iconic scenes in cinema history.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's no reason given why Michael is so obsessed with Laurie. Which
Exactly.
makes it so
They should have covered that.
sinister. Halloween 2 did try to reason the motive by explaining
Yes.
that they were siblings. However,
Mhm.
as explained earlier, the film no longer exists in
I
this
knew
timeline.
exactly.
All
And
because
as
in
if,
the 2018 film, Laurie's granddaughter says this.
That's just a bit that some people made up to make me feel better.
yeah, like they say it was a rumor,
But I
which
promise
is fine.
we will discuss this more.
But they still
After
have
school,
they
he
still have
continued stalking
fully
Laurie,
explained
as well as
that.
her
Like
friends,
why?
including Annie. As he pursues
Why
her
was he-
babysitting,
why
the
was he
voices still
obsessed
barks,
with
and
Laurie
this
Strode?
results
Why?
in the poor pooch biting the dust, suffering perhaps the most unfair death
So you can see
in
I have
the
a deep
entire
passion for the
franchise.
Halloween.
Now with the dog out of the
series.
picture, Michael hides in Annie's
Yeah.
car and kills her
I'm
right
a big
there.
fan
But
of
he
the Michael
doesn't leave
Myers
her
and
there,
Halloween
taking her
story.
lifeless body inside
I'm a
of
big
the
fan of
house,
it.
which young Tommy Doyle spots from the window in his living room. But alas, Laurie doesn't believe that he just saw the boogeyman. But don't worry, Tommy, she'll regret that soon enough. Meanwhile, her other friend Linda arrives at the Wallace's house with her boyfriend Bob, and taking the opportunity of a seemingly empty house,
Busting
they
all
decide to
kinds
go
of nuts.
upstairs to
The
get
house is
better
pathetic.
acquainted. After knowing each other a whole lot better, Bob heads downstairs for a beer, only to receive a tall glass of Michael, who killed him and pinned him against the pantry door.
And similar, like,
Now,
and
Michael
they used
always loved
that
the costume
similar
and
footage
drilled
on
a
Halloween.
bedsheet
It's
and
like they couldn't
nurses
come up with
to
something
believe that he was Bob,
original.
strangling her with a phone cord as she attempted to
It's almost like they
Lori.
copy a little bit
His
off
full
of
theatrical
1978.
production really
That's
comes
how I
alive
view it.
when he positions Linda and Bob's bodies in specific spots in the house, along with Judith's tombstone. Now every showman needs an audience, and his was Laurie Strode, who arrives to check in on Annie, and she's welcomed with a slash on the arm. She does quickly escape back to the Doyles, but despite having the speed of a snail, Michael catches up with her and made his way into the house. Crafty Laurie manages to grab a knitting needle and stabs him, which does leave him unconscious for a short while. When he comes to, he ascends up the stairs to find Laurie hiding in a closet, and this time she manages to stab him in the eye and the ribs with a coat hanger. And that may have been the end for a serial killer, but no, Michael did manage to get up again
He's
and
not
strangled
human.
Laurie, who managed to unmask him.
He's
Thus
not
catching him off
human.
guard and gave Loomis just enough time to arrive on the scene and shoot him multiple times, sending Michael off the balcony, but alas, not quite dead. Now the flashbacks and Halloween
He's
kills
still alive.
did reveal
They
what
picture like
happened
he's the
after
boogeyman.
scene.
He's not
After
human.
Michael was thrown off the balcony, he stalked the streets of Haddonfield to return home. This is where he was apprehended by a young Frank Hawkins. Who
See,
shot
all
him
that should have been
and
put
unfortunately
on the
missed.
second one.
Hawkins
That
and
should have been
Officer
put
McCabe
in.
reached the Myers
That should have
residence
been added
and
on the
entered
second one,
Judith's room.
not on the third
This
one.
is where Michael attacked McCabe, and Hawkins, in a bid to save him, shot and missed Michael, unfortunately killing his buddy instead. So Michael calmly left the room, and in a scene parallel to the night of Judith's death, he exited the home. But he wasn't greeted by the hands of his parents, but the beating of police officers. And just as Loomis was about to shoot him, Hawkins stopped him, something that he regretted many, many years later. And so Michael was arrested and incarcerated yet again.
See, that should have been covered up. That should have been covered up on that Halloween.
Jumping now 4 decades
This
into the
Halloween, that
future,
should have been in there.
podcasters Aaron and Dana
It would have made a lot of
arrived at the
sense
sanitarium with
of
the
how he,
intention
you know,
to interview
of
Michael.
where was Michael
And
Myers
as we all
and
know, he's not
how
a
he
very
was put
chatty
in
guy.
to the asylum.
However, they did
How
manage to
did
draw
that ever
a
occur?
very subtle reaction to his old mask. A day later, Michael and the other patients were being transferred to a new facility when the bus crashed. A father and son come across the wreckage and intend to help, but it doesn't go too well. October 31st, 2018. Michael finds the podcasters at the gas station, and it's here that he kills a mechanic and takes his clothes. He then proceeds to kill Dana and Aaron in the girls' bathroom, and after this, Michael recovers his old mask from their car before returning back home to Haddonfield. Once there, he wandered the streets and into a random house where he violently murdered a lady with a hammer. It seems that all those years of confinement made Michael's bloodlust only rise and boil, bubbling over and brewing him into a brutal, brutal killer. He repeated this to another woman before arriving at a house looked after by Vicky, who was babysitting a kid named Julian. Julian saw Michael in the shadows, so asked Vicky to check out his room, and oh boy, she found him in the closet and became another one of his victims. He then killed her boyfriend Dave, who he pinned to the wall in a homage to Bob's death in the first movie. Michael's next victim, a guy called Oscar, who had just been rejected by Allison. Oscar's death was a gruesome scene to behold, which Allison did when she went back to check on him. And this is where Michael saw Laurie Strode's granddaughter for the very first time.
That's where he realized that she was
Allison screamed for help,
Laurie
and
Strode's granddaughter.
Hawkins
That's where he
and
realized
arrived
that.
at the house where she was being calmed down by various neighbours. And together they found Michael, and Hawkins saw the chance to do what he couldn't do all those years ago. But before he could, Sartre revealed his obsession with Michael before stabbing Hawkins. And now unconscious and unmasked Michael rode in the car alongside Allison with Sartain at the wheel, with the intention to drive to Laurie's house. Michael woke and attacked a psychiatrist, all the while Allison escaped and ran into the woods. Michael crushed Sartain's
Because he
head
wants to
and
go after
later
Laurie
killed
Strode.
2 more officers who guarded Laurie's house.
Right.
He took the police car and drove to Laurie's home himself.
Right.
Now it seems at this point that Michael was still very much into his gory theatrics, arranging the bodies of the deceased inside their car. And when Alison's dad Ray came out of the house to check on them, Michael killed him too.
I forgot
and so came the
he was
moment
killed
that
too.
Laurie had been waiting for 40
I knew the
years.
mom's past
Michael was back
got
to
killed,
finish
was
her off.
murdered.
So she
on
hid her
the
daughter Karen in the
Halloween
basement
Kills.
while Michael
And that, I
attacked
completely
Laurie
forgot
through the
about
front
that.
door. Laurie was holding a rifle and fired it, saying goodbye to 2 of Michael's fingers. So left with one mangled hand, he opened the door. They crossed paths upstairs where Michael stabbed her in the stomach and threw her off the balcony, mirroring what happened to him in the very first movie. Michael then went into the kitchen and moved the counter, which was the secret door to the basement. By this point, Alison was already there with Karen, and she tricked him into peeking inside. And she successfully shot him in the face while
the way how they set it up, like
in
you
the
can tell,
back.
like, okay, there's
Now
gonna be
falling
a
into
setup.
the basement, Michael was now in Laurie's trap, where she set him ablaze along with her home. And for a brief blissful moment, the Strode women thought they'd finally conquered the boogeyman, until they heard the sirens of the fire engines. Halloween Kills. Because Halloween Night lasts for ages in this franchise, Halloween Kills picked up immediately after the events of the first film. So, how did Michael survive? Well, as it turns out, he hid in a metal closet that he found in the basement, and he was eventually found by 2 firefighters. And how did he thank them? Well, he gave them both a can of whoop-ass before exiting the burning building like a badass,
Stone Cold
wiping
style.
out any firefighter
Not
he
really.
sees. Meanwhile, a mob was being formed by Tommy Doyle along with Lonnie Elam, Lindsay Wallace and Marion Chambers, all with the agenda to kill Michael.
We're gonna come
then arrives at
the
Hog, where he's
original
observing
character
a group of really annoying
that played it
kids.
in Tommy that
The
played
masks
that
they're
was
wearing
played as
earlier,
Tommy
the
Doyle.
pumpkin, the
Wonder
witch,
how come he
and the
wasn't
skull all
in the
reference
role.
Halloween 3.
Interesting.
You know, the ones
So
that
that's
turn
not the
your
guy.
head to mush.
That's not the guy
Anyway,
that
if you
was
think
playing
that
that Tommy
Halloween
Doyle
3
was
is
playing
super
the character as
underrated,
Tommy
then
Doyle
let me know in
in
the
1978.
comments.
That's a different guy.
Marion, Lindsay, Vanessa, and Marcus found the group, and Lindsay warned them of Michael.
See, Lindsay,
But she
that
wasn't
she's,
taken
you know,
too seriously
Kylie Ritchie was the
until they saw
original,
him brandishing
was
the
in the
bloody
original
mask of
Halloween
their friends.
1978
Once
movie.
again, in a parallel of the first
He's in it.
movie, Michael
Alright,
attacked
yeah, makes
Marion,
sense,
but
but-
this time he succeeded.
The other one
Vanessa
kinda
escaped, and Marcus tried to
interesting.
choke him.
As far as, like,
but
you know,
Michael stabbed
Tommy
him in the
Doyle.
eye. That killed him pretty
Interesting.
instantly. Vanessa fired at the car and missed, so Michael kicked the door of the car, hit her, and she shot herself. And this is perhaps the dumbest death in the entire franchise. Lindsay then filled a bag full of bricks and attacked Michael, but as he choked her, she managed to unmask him. He let her go to fix his mask, and she ran away to hide, successfully, as Michael couldn't find her, and so continued his way to his family's house. Once there, he learned it was now inhabited by 2 men, Big John and
The little
Little
wolf
John.
part.
And of course, he couldn't have any of that, so he killed them. Although Little John
I didn't feel like
just
it'd be like
survived,
it ruined the
he
movie.
didn't
Just
just
saying
stand
it was
there
a
like
little
an
wolf,
idiot.
like, it's 2 gay guys.
Meanwhile, Lonnie realised that
in the-
Michael was heading to
in the
his
house.
house and drove there with his son Cameron and
It's
Alison.
like how it is. How I
Lonnie
feel
went
about it.
inside while the kids waited in the car until they heard a strange noise coming from inside of the house. Michael killed Lonnie off screen and turned his attention to Cameron and Alison. Michael threw her down the stairs.
It's almost like
and
he
killed
knew
Cameron right in front of her.
that
I mean,
his granddaughter
he
was
really
gonna come
tortured the poor guy,
after him.
and
It's almost like
super,
he knew it was
super
gonna happen.
rough to watch. Michael approached Alison and stopped her from stabbing him, but just as he was about to stab her, Karen arrived and attacked him with a pitchfork. This gave her just enough time to unmask him and lure him to the Haddonfield mob, who all proceeded to hit, stab and shoot Michael all at once, with Karen finally stabbing him in the back of the neck. Plot twist though, Michael did survive, getting back onto his feet to kill everyone around him, including Tommy Doyle. Believing Michael was dead, Karen went upstairs to Judith's room to look out the window like a young Michael used to, but Michael came up from behind and killed her. Side note, I have no idea why she decided to do this. It was such an odd choice, but whatever. It's also during this film, while Laurie is in hospital,
What can you
we
do?
learn Michael technically doesn't care about Laurie at all. It was purely coincidental they ended up in her yard in the 2018 movie. There's no explanation, and Michael is simply just a killing machine.
Exactly, they should have.
The fact that he has no objective or motive
should have
only
covered
makes
that,
him
like, it
more
doesn't make any
terrifying
sense.
in my opinion.
It's almost like they
and
completely
sets him apart from his
wrote it
fellow
off that this has
cinematic
nothing to do
serial
with Laurie
killers.
Strode,
So after
even
killing
though
Karen, Michael
on
goes
that
into hiding
Halloween
in the sewers.
he was looking
Why?
for her.
I've got no idea. The movie doesn't explain it at all.
Mm-hmm.
It implies that he's weak, but he seemed pretty powerful after demolishing that entire mob in the last movie. But anyway,
I don't know
although
if
he's no
powerful
longer
was the
around,
word.
his
He
dark
was just not.
presence
He was.
still felt throughout
They
the
just
town.
basically turned him into a human being.
2022. During the film, Laurie says it's been 4 years since that long Halloween night, and the film picks up just before Halloween. Laurie has done her best to heal and move on, and now lives with her granddaughter Allison, although she...
Sorry about that. The camera cut off for some reason. But anyway, shall we continue?
She does know he's still out there, somewhere waiting. But let's forget about Laurie for a moment, because that's exactly what the film does. A huge part of the film centers on a young man called Corey, who in 2018 on Halloween night accidentally killed a boy he was babysitting.
Right,
As
an accident.
such, he is now the town's social pariah. One of a few who doesn't judge him is Allison,
camera a little
who
bit.
takes quite a fancy to him. When Corey is
There you
beaten
go.
up by some kids and tossed over a bridge, he is then dragged into the sewers. When he finally comes to and tries to escape, Michael snatches him by the neck and tries to choke him.
Right.
And as Michael stares into Corey's eyes, it seems to imply that he can see Corey's trauma and
Right.
lets him go. Now it's super unclear if Michael transferred some of his evil into Corey at this moment. I
Right.
say this because the very next day, when Corey sees Allison, Laurie swore that he had Michael's eyes.
Michael's eyes in Corey.
I can see that.
Anyway,
I
later
can
on,
see
Corey
that.
meets a cop who is an ex of Allison's.
It's like he transcended his powers,
like
like a supernatural power
Corey,
to
Michael
Corey.
stabs the cop, which gives him some kind of weird orgasm. And after this whole debacle, Michael follows Corey back to Laurie's
Weird
house,
orgasm.
but just stands there on her lawn,
Okay.
rather than doing anything notable. After this, the
You
two
can
then
safely
form
say
some
that it's
kind of
almost
weird
like it
double
was
act,
getting his
embarking
like
on a
powers
big
back
killing
after he
spree.
killed the guy.
Corey kills a doctor that Allison works under, while Michael takes care of an annoying nurse with a knife. Later on, Corey goes back to Michael's sewer, only this time to have a wrestle on the floor, and he takes Michael's mask. And how he overpowered the shape, I've got no idea.
Exactly.
In my
Why?
opinion, it's
Why does he have to be overpowered?
Anyway,
Exactly.
while
It doesn't
doing
make any
Michael's mask,
sense.
Corey sets
He's
out
not-
on his own killing
Michael
spree,
Myers
killing
has a
bunch of people
supernatural
in
strength to the
supernatural ways.
point where
His
he
next
cannot
target
be
is Laurie,
stopped.
heading off to finish the job that
That
Michael
doesn't make
couldn't.
any sense.
Whenever the
If
smarty
he managed to
Laurie's
go,
beating him
I don't care
and
how old
fires
he
a
is.
few bullets into him,
The
and he
age,
topples
for that
both
term,
of them
doesn't
balanced.
matter
But Corey,
because
he's not dead yet. He
as
slices his own
supernatural
neck,
as
so
he
Allison
is,
would
I
believe
highly
that
doubt
Laurie killed her
that the
boyfriend.
age, there's no way the
Not to me,
age had
this was
gotten
completely
this.
pointless and
There's no
went
way.
absolutely
He's not human.
nowhere.
So if he's not
Anyway,
human,
it turns out that Michael
the
came
age
back to Laurie's
difference
house
doesn't really
after all.
affect him.
Now it could have
It
been
doesn't
that
make
he wants
any
to retrieve
sense.
his mask, or it could have been that he wants to be the one to kill Laurie. Either way, he snapped Corey's neck, killing him for good.
Yeah.
Now finally, we come to the scene that this entire news
This should have been. This should have been.
to. Michael.
We should have
versus
got
Laurie.
more
The
story
final
of the
fight,
of Michael
ultimate,
Myers and
the
Laurie
one
Strode.
we've all been waiting
Is
for.
there a love
The
triangle in
scene
there?
is
Do
so
they love
great
each
that
other?
it
Was
almost
they
makes
used to
up
have
for the
a
more
past
questionable
relationship
stuff
together?
that
Is that what
happened
it
before
is?
it. The two duke it out in the kitchen, and Laurie manages to pin him down using knives as well as
They could have put it like
the
that.
fridge. Unable to move, she slices his throat, but despite bleeding out heavily, he manages to rip one hand free and chokes Laurie.
Mm-hmm.
He almost kills her too, until a last-minute assist from Allison, who frees her grandmother. And to
Right.
finish him off, Laurie slices Michael's wrist and kills him for good. So with the cops and the entire town, they parade a lifeless Michael to the scrapyard. It's here where Laurie pushes his body into the metal grinder and
Right.
he's swallowed up by the rotating jaws. The only thing that's left of Michael is his soiled, burnt mask,
Right.
which is commemorated in the final shot of the movie.
Mhm.
So there we have it. That is the entire timeline of
So there's still
Myers.
questions,
Do
as far as
you
I'm
think we've
concerned.
seen
That
the
feels
last of him?
that
And
proves
do you
my
think
point.
there will be another?
I mean, it's good how she covered that up. I didn't know. The one thing I didn't know about was the fact that in that 1978 movie, that the way how I guess I didn't know there was like a book of it, but from my understanding, based on according to what she said, that based on the book, that Halloween book, apparently the way how he learned how to drive, he studied how Dr. Loomis drove, you know, his skill of driving. I didn't even know about that. I was like, interesting. It makes total sense. In a way, when you think about it, like, it makes sense. Like, well, that makes sense because, that's Michael Myers' doctor. It's Dr. Loomis. That's Michael Myers' patient. So, I'm sure he was the guy that drove him around to the asylum and all that particular stuff that they needed to go, and it made total sense. So, and I'm sure not only through Dr. Loomis, but I'm sure through what's that nurse? That nurse that we just saw in 1978 that stepped out of the car real quick, the station wagon real quick, and Michael Myers was trying to get her out of the car. I forgot the character's name, but that could be another way of how he managed to learn how to drive. But anyway, that part I didn't know. Majority of the stuff that they covered, I knew. The only thing was, I just wanted them to maybe they have a better explanation, or she had a better explanation on how and where exactly, like, why does he want to go after Laurie? Why does he want to go after Babysitter? What is the history between Laurie and Michael? Why did they manage to script it up? Apparently, there's still questions that be answered. So far as I'm concerned, this story is unsolved. As far as I'm concerned. And if it's unsolved and they left, and as far as I'm concerned, if this is truly the end of Halloween, then as far as I'm concerned, this is a disappointing Halloween timeline. As far as I'm concerned, this is really disappointing. As far as I'm concerned, it's not really complete because they didn't quite finish up the story. As far as I'm concerned, the story is not. There's still questions that need to be answered. So, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, man, let me know what you guys think of this whole Halloween trilogy or the Halloween collection. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys thought. And if you enjoy my reaction, you can go ahead and do me a favor. Smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, smash that share button. And of course, don't forget to keep that notification bell on so that way you don't miss any videos that I upload. Well, guys, until next time, Halloween fans, peace out. Yeah, let's go. Kind of had to hesitate there for a minute because I had a gas coming. I was like a little burp coming. But anyway, see you all next time.